So if you can just hold on to your questions. I know I've got so many questions about diaspora, right? And you can reserve your questions up to the end so that you can have, they might be answered by him well before. So we can just note your questions down and keep them for the next session.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Marongwe, for the summary of the findings. I want to thank you all for welcoming us to this feedback process. And I also want to thank you for all the inputs that you made when we came in February, and also for those who had the chance to look at the draft report, which was emailed to some of you members here. I see here we have got Margaret. Thank you so much for the inputs. I think she wrote almost about 2 to 3 pages commenting on the report before we finalized it. Thank you so much. My role this afternoon is very easy. I will only concentrate on the action points or recommendations, and of which most of them are here in the report. The first issue that I'm going to concentrate is the review of the migration and diaspora policy. No matter how we want to participate, if there is no framework, if there is no policy, then participation will be problematic. And hence, the most important thing is for us, the civil society organizations in Zimbabwe, and as well as the diaspora associations based all over the world, at least to come together, have a coordinated approach, whereby we can push and lobby the government, the dysfunctional government, at least to have a review of the migration and diaspora policy, which was developed by IOM. Then secondly, the book also recommends the recognition of civil and political rights of all Zimbabweans throughout the world. How then can we facilitate this? We are calling to the government at least to allow the diaspora guys, ladies and gentlemen, to vote wherever they are. Because if you don't have your views, your decisions on what is happening back home, how can you participate in the socio-economic development? Even in the investment and the trade, you need to vote to secure your rights.
Amen.
And secondly, we are saying, as civil society organizations and the diaspora associations, we should fight for you guys, some of you, to have dual citizenship, so that you can be working here. Yes, body-wise we are here, but in spirit we are together. Wow! You are also contributing your knowledge, your experience, wherever you are, so that we all have a say in the development of the country. And the fourth recommendation that was raised was the provision of more information. Currently, most of you guys are getting the information from the internet, which is not credible. But if we have got dialogue platforms where you guys come to Zimbabwe, you send your leadership, your representatives back home, we meet with the grassroots communities, civil society, even policymakers, and talk, debate, and see how we move forward. It will be better. Or bring some people from Zimbabwe here to dialogue with you. How do you see? How can we move? How can we do this and that? And we will be providing each other enough and adequate information. And then the fifth point is strengthening institutions dealing with the diaspora issues. Last week, part 1, when we launched this booklet, the minister who was there, who gave the keynote address, confessed that the government has no capacity to deal with the migration issues, and hence probably that's why you guys are not taken seriously to participate back home. And hence, she called upon civil society and diaspora associations, such as the Zimbabwe Association, to at least create platforms for you guys to be allowed to go back to Zimbabwe and capacitate those senior government officials and capacitate even the civil society organizations on how to implement some of the programs. Lastly, this book also recommends that all migrants who are based in other countries should be permitted to engage in economic activities. How can this be done? I think my colleague Machinda highlighted that. Our government back home should have a policy framework whereby it can talk with other governments from other countries on how best you can be working wherever you are, especially those who are in the UK. The UK government is ready to discuss, but our government somehow seems to be, shifting goalposts. Lastly, this book recommends that there should be provision of investment and trade incentives. If you are going to invest back home, what incentive do you have? Would you want to go and just start a business without being assured of the incentives that you are going to get? Totally no. If I were me here in the diaspora, I would not do that. So we should work together, civil society back home and you guys here, so that we can create proper platforms and lobby groups which we can use to lobby our government. In a nutshell, those are the recommendations from our book, but we are also calling upon you to come up with further strategies for us to do what? To collaborate and work together. In Shona they say, chara chimwe achi twaninda. One finger cannot crush lies. Saka, if we are two, you guys and us back home, we can crush the lies. Which is the lies? Probably our stubborn government. Thank you so much.